Hey, what's up, gamers? It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. Right now it's 4:06. I have a little bit less than an hour to chat with you all. And welcome to another episode slash installment of The Mix. I'm running solo on this one. I don't know if I've ever done a solo mix. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't know. But if I have, I haven't done one in a while. But I'm pretty used to, by now, talking to myself. I've been doing this for a long time, making videos and all that stuff. And speaking of making videos, you guys can find a whole bunch of my stuff. You can find out where to follow me all in the description below. And yeah, I just wanted to chat with you guys. I do happen to have a Patreon. If you guys want to support that, by all means. If not, whatever. Do not feel obligated to support me on Patreon. But if you do, that's very cool, and I appreciate it, and all that stuff. It's very nice. It's very sweet. If you're not familiar with the structure of the Patreon right now, it is $3 to become a patron, and the Patreon as it stands right now acts as a kind of doorway to my brain. You guys get access to content early, and in the future you will be having access to content that is specific to Patreon. You will not find it anywhere else. That may be a little bit hard on me to do, but it is totally doable. Yeah, I definitely look forward to growing the Patreon, so if you can support it, that's awesome. If not, no worries. Content will be produced regardless. And kind of on the note of content, this channel, Crashblock, is kind of known to maybe not just me, but people that are familiar with the channel as the kind of in-depth analytic channel, which is good. That's kind of the way I like it. I like making that type of content. The retrospectives are very fun, even though they're time consuming. I really enjoy kind of taking a zoomed in look at something like a game or a movie or whatever. And before I started making that kind of content, I don't know if people like knew I had something like that in me. Originally, a lot of my inspiration came from, and it still comes from, the same place, a channel by the name of Micah Edmonds. He really puts in the in-depth work. I would absolutely, if you guys appreciate my retrospective, you like my stuff, if you want an even more zoomed in, like long form version of retrospectives or content, I would look there, because he has some amazing stuff, continues to inspire me to this day, and it's all really good stuff. But I happen to have a problem where I recommend people content and they don't like actually look it up. Like I definitely recommend some super amazing stuff, and I only ever recommend stuff if I think it's really worth someone's time. I never like, oh, play this or watch this because it's bad and I want you to suffer as much as I do. No, if I recommend content, typically it's because like I think it's so good. Like I had a number of podcasts that I listened to that, man, I had to twist the homie's arm to get him to listen to. Eventually he did, and he loved it. And then another homie, he listened to a podcast I recommended just on my recommendation. Like I talked about it a couple times, and he finally got around to listening to it on his own. He's like, oh, I will listen to anything you tell me to, which is sick. It's really nice to have so a little bit of blind faith. I'm not looking for blind faith, but I'm just like, oh, hey, chances are if I'm recommending something, it's pretty fucking good. But doubling back a little bit on the topic of content produced on Crashblock by myself, I think I want to grow the channel in maybe the iTunes territory. Maybe do that. Maybe do a little like audio format, like exclusive, so stuff not exclusive to iTunes, but like have it all in audio format on iTunes. I think that might be something to do, because I do believe iTunes is a free platform. I'm pretty sure I don't think you have to pay anything to post, which is very nice and kind of the way I like it. I'm not a fan of subscription services or you have to pay this month. And it actually stopped me from getting a very cool app for golfing. If you guys didn't know, I really like golfing, even though I'm very bad at it. And it's $20 a year for this application, and it's such a cool app. But something about the yearly subscription kind of thing, apart from like PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live or something like that, it really kind of puts me off. I don't like it because I don't feel like I own the application, which you don't. And if you fail to make a payment, you don't own it anymore. I just don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. Which $20 in a year is not much to swing by any means, but it's that you have to swing it every year. Dumbling back once again to content produced on Crouch Block. I'm very I've made a good heap of progress on the Miles Morales retrospective. I would say close to having it done. There is some stuff I'm redoing with the audio and my own voiceover work that is being redone currently because I don't think it sounds great, and then a lot of it is just putting video to the audio, which finding the bits of video that I want to put in there. Like, I could just as easily throw in like, oh, here's half an hour of the Let's Play I did. Just have that, whatever. Not a big deal to me. But I don't want to do that as much as possible because it's very lazy and it doesn't end up looking nice. And I don't think my retrospectives are there to like visually please anyone as much as possible. But having a little bit of visual elements like present kind of helps. It just makes things seem a bit more professional, just makes things seem a bit nicer, and that's kind of the way I want to have things presented in the video format. Sometimes that may fall through just because like I'm trying to do something fast, and a lot of the questions that comes after is what happens after Spider-Man Miles Morales. I've had a number of things I've thought about working on. I actually ended up asking people, and I'm gonna ask you guys here, like, what would you like me to work on after Spider-Man Miles Morales? I've had a couple things I said I wanted to work on, like i.e. Demon Slayer. I wanted to make a retrospective or an analytic video talking about Demon Slayer. I don't know if I want to do that anymore. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about it. And like, part of me still wants to, but part of me feels like I lost the fire to kind of talk on that. I think Demon Slayer does some things very good, and I think it does some things very poorly, i.e. setting up like stumbles for later growth. I think Demon Slayer doesn't really do that at all. I think it has like a very micro mini moment of stumbles for Tanjiro starting out, and it doesn't kind of capitalize on those later. He just becomes proficient randomly, and that's very weird to me. Like, he doesn't come across as having any inherent flaws. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds away. Like I said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty tired, and man, I'm not looking forward to going to work after this, but it is what it be. But as I said, I'm asking you guys here to kind of give me some ideas or things that you want me to work on. I've had a couple people approach me, or I guess I approached a couple of people, and I asked them, hey, yeah, what do you want me to work on after Spider-Man Miles Morales? I got a couple things back, and I really wasn't expecting any of them in earnest. I asked Brandon, and he asked me to do the League of Legends RPG, The Rune King, which I think is interesting. I don't know if that's something I would like to do. I'm not sure, because, man, just doing a game like that seems like it'd be so difficult, but you never know. I could end up playing it, falling in love with it, and just like, oh, how could I not write about this game? I don't know. Let me fix my camera. I didn't realize it was severely off center. And I had another friend say vampire, or vampire, however, I assume it's vampire, which I played like an hour of that game. I thought it was pretty good. I did kind of decide in my head that I would love to come back to it sometime. Another friend said Mad Max, which I didn't play much of Mad Max. You guys can look back at my main channel, G_Sen, and see that I did play it a while ago. Not all the way through by any means, but I played a chunk of it, and I thought it was good, but it kind of boils into something I don't know if I've talked about enough, or really at all. That's, I don't want to talk about Arkham like combat, really. I'm kind of tired of it. I talked about it with Spider-Man. I've talked about it with The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, because it's kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but you have a button to strike, you have a button to like dodge / counter. And then now with Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I'm gonna kind of contradict myself here in a second, but the last friend, Cody, you guys have seen him on the channel. The last friend said Dark Souls, and I thought that was so interesting. Like, I've definitely thought about making a video talking about Dark Souls, because obviously, before I was the fighting game guy or the fighting game friend, I was actually the Dark Souls guy / the Dark Souls friend, which is cool, you know. Dark Souls was, oh man, such a deep rabbit hole for me. I hardly remember anything and everything that I used to know, because information for me, like when some stuff comes in, other stuff goes out. That's just how information works for me in my brain. And I become quite obsessive when I'm like, I get really stuck and sucked into something. And for a long while, as Dark Souls, I started out by listening to a podcast called Bonfireside Chat. They were very lovely people. A bit of a like dry sense of humor, but in like a nice, pleasant way that I far from minded. I enjoyed tuning in every episode. And you know, I played through all of the Soulsborne row games. So I played Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I played Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne. If there's one I'm forgetting, I don't think so. I haven't played the Kingsfield games. I know those are somewhat considered on there. But I thought about making like a tier list on how much like I enjoyed certain aspects of the games. Like, that's kind of the extent I thought about talking about these games, but I never thought about a retrospective. Which it's definitely an option. I don't know if it's an option now or in the future, but you know, I would love to talk about the games. I think they're all fantastic, and I would recommend them wholeheartedly. Maybe not so much Bloodborne, my experience, and I would love to talk about this in the future with Bloodborne. It's not that I think Bloodborne is a bad game. I think it's a very good game. I think my experience tied to Bloodborne was terrible, because every recording session that I would sit down and play the game, I was kind of rushed, and that leads to me like just being rushed in my experience to enjoy a game just does not sit well with my kind of lasting impression with the game, because I wasn't just able to sit down and be immersed in it. And there's kind of a lot of things I feel for these games, and I would love to talk about them in the future. I think, as I said, they're very good games. So maybe that's definitely a large possibility of something that could happen in the future. I think I think that's pretty up there for me. I don't know how I'd want to talk about the games, but I do know at some point in the future that that's likely going to happen on Crouch Block. If you guys didn't know, I wrote a full-ass retrospective for Halo Combat Evolved. I talk about it a little bit in the Spider-Man Miles Morales retrospective, which will be out eventually. And man, it just ended up me kind of talking shit about this thing I used to love as a kid. Because I did have very good memories with Halo. But man, just coming back to that game, it really doesn't offer you much, like in ways of like, it didn't really, out of what I recall, have an online. Xbox Live kind of came into the picture around Halo 2, so the main thing you were there for was the story. And I honestly played it and I'm just like, dude, I don't remember what the fuck the story was. And like the gameplay just did not hold up to me. It just kind of ended up being a bit of a crap fest for me. I'm just like, yeah, this is a game. This is a very 2001 game. Like that is what I walked away with for Halo. And you kind of like grow up with, did you play the new Halo? Did you enjoy the Halo 3s? And like, yeah, and like that was the thing that everyone talked about, like at the lunch table. I'm like, man, I love Halo. I love killing aliens, and like that stuff is cool. And when you're young and you don't have like your own taste in games defined, because I very much played those games with my brothers. Like I was heavily influenced to like and love those games with my brothers because they liked and loved those games, and I was a small, impressionable child that didn't have my own taste. And now, as I like kind of have my glass of wine in hand, I don't actually have a glass of wine. Being all sophisticated, playing the games that I like, even though I'm playing stuff like Pokemon or whatever. You know, it just kind of like comes to that, like, things change so much, like you change so much, your taste changed so much. Like the things I watch and enjoyed way back then are not necessarily the things I watch and enjoy now. Even down to content I consume from like a YouTube standpoint. Man, I used to freaking love Let's Plays. I used to get down on those. There were a specific few content creators. I used to love Simply Unlucky. I used to love him unboxing Yu-Gi-Oh cards because I was like, man, I could have these Yu-Gi-Oh cards and it'd be so sick and so cool and all that stuff. And yeah, like I don't look at card pull channels at all, really. And what are some other things I used to watch? Like Call of Duty videos, like not necessarily tips and tricks, but you know, I used to watch and listen to CNRs and Hutch. And man, I definitely go back from time to time and listen to some like older videos I used to enjoy as a kid, and I get in my feelings because I'm just like, man, I'm old now. Times have really changed. I'm an old bitch. And yeah, this was kind of like a rabbit hole of a segment, but oh man, yeah, we were circling around content being produced on the channel. We're talking about Miles Morales, future content to expect. In addition to the ones I suggested, so the Rune King, Vampire, Mad Max, Dark Souls, I thought of a couple games I wanted to talk about myself, and that was in way of, let's see, one was Plague Tale, because I thought that game was a bag full of awful. I didn't play it all the way through. I played through like 4 chapters or 3 chapters or something like that. I don't really recall. And man, the whole time I was just like, this game is an absolute slog. And that totally sucked. Another one I thought of was Batman Arkham Origins, because I haven't played Arkham Origins, and my whole experience with Arkham Origins is everyone saying that one is like the disowned stepchild, and I kind of wanted to take a zoomed in look, and it's just like, is this the stepchild that no one wants to talk about? Like, is this really the case? I don't know. But it's a Batman game, and it kind of comes back to, I hate talking about Arkham or Arkham-esque combat now, so I don't know if I wanted to do that. It would really be like a look at more of the story, not so much the combat, and kind of the things placed in front of you. And then one of the last things I thought about was actually Dead Space. There were some other stuff that I thought about too, but I can't quite place it right now. I thought at length about Dead Space, and I was just like, does this game hold up? Like, because I remember having a very good experience with Dead Space 1. I did feel, I was just like, yes, this game is extremely linear, and I know that's the case with Dead Space 2 as well. But I'm just like, this game still is the pinnacle of, like, when you think about what games used to be. Like, it's one of those, it's just like, man, I haven't had like a Dead Space in a while. That game was sick. And it was sick, and I do remember it, even though my experience with playing it fully all the way through was when I was a young 20-something. I say it like I'm an old 20-something, but I'm a mid 20-something right now. And yeah, it kind of, even though I played it a bit later in life all the way through myself, it kind of still landed in one of those iconic games. Like, going back to Halo, it kind of removed itself from one of those like iconic games. Yeah. So if you guys had any suggestions, please let me know of games you think that you would like to hear me talk about, or on top of that, games that you think I would enjoy talking about, kind of something along those lines. But moving on to like further into the content realm, I had a couple ideas for things that I wanted to do for future content. I wanted to do a sort of fighting game format with Vince. I would love if Vince and Brandon and Shooter and everyone that I know and love from home would just move out to Nevada, but I know that it's just not feasible. Because I want to do a lot more things with them in person. It's very, very hard for me to travel. I have kids. I have a girlfriend that has a different schedule than I do as far as work is related, and I don't want to. As much as like I'm okay with the idea of going down by myself, like I would feel extremely bad if I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna go to California for like a weekend, like have fun at home like that. No, that's not kosher. So lining things up is very, very tough for me and my girlfriend, but you know, I definitely do want to make some things work, and you know, get down and have some fun times with the friends and the homegirl. And if it comes to bringing the kids along with, then by all means, I have no problems with that. But yeah, I have some ideas. I would love to do something revolving around fighting games, of course, with Vince. I have like a kind of gauntlet idea where we play a whole bunch of fighting games. I won't get into too much detail, but I would love to do something like that with him. I'll have to kind of communicate further. We can totally do this remote, but there's just something about playing fighting games with someone that you enjoy playing fighting games with in person. Like it means that much more, like it feels that much better, because you know it's offline. Even though rollback is a great option, and it's kind of further pushed the fighting game community into like a better state and a better place. Like I'm very, very grateful for it, but it just does not match that offline feeling, man. Like I haven't played offline fighting games with Vince in so long. Like not since we played and messed around with like a little bit of Tekken, some Super Smash Brothers. Like we just really haven't played. And like MK10 I think we're messing around with, I don't really remember. And then some more content talk. I definitely want to do some more stuff with golf. I think golf is very, very fun. I've been enjoying it a whole hell of a lot. There are a couple things I want to do. One, I would love to take my girlfriend's clubs out on the course and see how I can do. But I have a bit of a New Year's resolution. I would love to break 100. I don't know if that's feasible. My score for my first game that I played all 18 holes, it was well above 100. So this is gonna require me to play very, very well, or at least a lot better than I have been. My local course is a par 72, I want to say. I'm not saying I want to break 75. I'm not saying I want to break par. I just want to break 100. How feasible that is, I have no idea. Especially for someone of my caliber that is wildly inconsistent, whether they hit a great shot or it goes 15 yards or whatever and I top it super hard. I don't know how feasible that is, but I would like to do it. I would like to give it a try. If I fail, it is what it is. Like at least I'm having a good time playing golf. I'd love to get more people that I know playing golf and have them enjoy the sport that I do, because I'm looking at golf as a long-term sport and thing I can enjoy and love. Because skateboarding, even though I haven't been skateboarding much, like man, I don't know if I'll be able to do that long term. What are some other things I do? But that's the prime example. And I think it's very, very fun. I think people are thinking too hard on it. Like, you can absolutely go to the driving range and have a great time, even if you suck. I suck. Like, I don't know if people think like, oh, you're really, really good. And you're just doing the thing. You're golfing, you're practicing all the time. No, I'm still quite bad. But, I'm not afraid to go out on the course and suck really, really bad. And I think that sets me apart, actually, because there is a very, very pervasive fear of, like, getting started and being bad. People are afraid to be bad. People are afraid to suck, which you are going to have to be bad, and you're going to have to suck. Like, that's all a part of getting started. Like, I'm just, if somebody comes up to you, or somebody comes up to me and just like, oh, hey, bro, I'm really bad, play through. You just go on ahead, and they're just like, okay, right on. Nobody is an asshole. I've never run into anyone that's just like, what are you doing on this course? How dare you, like, embarrass the lands of this golf course? Like, it's nothing like that. I understand golf is an investment to kind of get into, because clubs are not cheap. They really, really aren't. If you can get away with borrowing a friend and or family member's clubs, that's awesome. If you can have someone give you their clubs, that's awesome. Because I got so lucky with getting all my clubs secondhand. Vince, shout out to him, because I got a majority of my clubs through him. And he was cleaning out his closet one day, and he was just like, dude, I got these clubs. I have never, ever used them. I think he said they were from like a family member. I don't really remember. But he's just like, do you want these? I'm just like, fuck yeah, I do. I'll take them. Yeah. And man, it had some irons, like a good set of irons. It's not a full set of irons, but there were no wedges, which is fine, I got my driver that I use. I did get a driver from Vince, but I got the driver I use from my oldest brother. I got a sand wedge from my homie Cody, because he had a spare one. The only club I do not have that is secondhand is my putter that is from Big 5 for $30, and my 7-iron, because my original 7-iron broke. The head flew off. And I'm still very broken up about that, because I love that club. But I am getting accustomed to my current 7-iron. But yeah, those are the only two clubs that I have that are not secondhand, is my putter and my 7-iron. And man, I've just been enjoying it. Vince texted me recently. He's like, dude, you're making me want to get into golf, which I hope that's the case. I hope he like hits me up, because I asked him, it's just like, oh, hey, like, if you're actually looking to get into this, where are you looking to get some clubs? Because there are a number of things you can try. You don't need to buy, oh yes, the full Titleist or the full Callaway set of irons, the newest, latest, and greatest. That's far from the case. You can buy secondhand just fine. Although, depending on where you are, it may limit your secondhand options. Like, because I live in Nevada, this place is rampant with pawn shops and stuff. So you can check there for some secondhand clubs. Who knows, depending on where you live, you might have some golf specific stores, which is awesome, or maybe some secondhand golf stores. I don't know. Typically, a lot of places people look are sporting goods stores. You can try Amazon. You can try Craigslist. Yeah, Craigslist. Yeah, check out Craigslist. Check out eBay. You might have, I literally found someone that was local that had some older clubs for sure, but they're just like, oh yeah, looking to get rid of them, $40. There you go. So yeah, use your fucking resources, dude. Like, there's a bunch of people though that go to like a place even like Costco, man. Costco is just like, you don't know what they're gonna fucking have. You can get like a set of clubs for like $300 or something like that. You can go on Amazon, get a set with a driver, with irons, with I think they have wedges, a putter for $300. You can do that, which is awesome. I actually want to do that eventually. And yeah, just be aware of your resources, like, because you can get, I mean, it's still potentially going to be pricey apart from the motherfucker that's local that's selling them for $40. But you can get in a bit cheaper than you think. And What I will say though is I'm not going to defend golf entirely because it can be expensive. It very much can be. Luckily, my driving range is like $7, but it's not just the driving range. If you're gonna play a course, you need to go buy golf balls. You can definitely buy some cheaper golf balls. Like I just got 24 golf balls for like $12. Normally I only use 15, but there was a brand of golf balls called Nitro, and they're just like $6 or $7 a piece for 12 of them. And I was just like, dude, I've been buying Callaway, and for a box of 15, it's like $30. I'm just like, let me try these cheap ones out. If I like these, I'm gonna keep buying them. If not, whatever. And then you have the cost of playing the course, which I don't know how expensive it is. It can be, to book a tee time, can be like $30 to $40. And then you might have the driveaways. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna defend it entirely, but it's a very, very fun sport. I would love to, my small term goal, hit par on a hole, just a hole. I got very, very close. The closest I've gotten so far is a +1, and man, I had almost the most incredible recovery putt of my life. That started out as a recovery to hit a +1, and it was like across the green for this putt. I almost sank it, and it turned into a +4. I'm not a good golfer by any means. I don't play with a handicap. I play stroke play. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't calculated what my like full score is or anything like that. I don't really want to play with a handicap, but you know, if I play with a higher handicap player, obviously, yeah. There's also ways to play like match play. You could play scramble. There's a whole bunch of ways to play golf and like enjoy the sport. Oh man. And then yeah, my long-term goal would be to break 100. Yes. But if you're thinking about getting into golf in any capacity, yeah, just look around, kind of be aware of your resources. You may have a homie that's really into golf that is just like, I have these older clubs, I do not use them anymore. Do you want them for free and or a cheap price? I don't know. Oh man, but I definitely do have a bug where I end up looking around and just like, I see these nice fancy clubs and I'm just like salivating to myself, just like how nice it would be to have these Titleist irons. Golf clubs are so freaking nice to look at and pretty to look at. I would love to, yeah, I'm actually shopping around for some wedges right now, a set of wedges, and I found a set on Amazon for $100, a 52, a 56, and a 60 degree, which would be pretty great. I've been getting away at close range using my 9-iron, but mostly like 98.5% of the time I'm using my sand wedge. And man, I hit some incredible shots with my sand wedge, but I've also hit some very, very bad ones as well. Like I've used my sand wedge and hit like with 2 feet left on the hole, like to the green, and like it was just like simulation, boys. But yeah, enjoy golf, have fun with golf, get some friends to play. It's a very, very fun sport. I'm honestly not sure what I want to talk about left. I kind of didn't think this one through. I guess I want to, another thing I wanted to talk about is like the Nuzlocke. The Nuzlocke. This is my first Nuzlocke. If you guys are not familiar with my main channel, I am doing a Nuzlocke on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I'm having a lot of fun with the game in a way I haven't had fun with Pokemon really at all. I've been kind of going through fits with Pokemon where a new game will come out and man, I could not care less. Like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. Like I got Pokemon Sun and I got Pokemon Sword. And man, I did not play them. I did not play them at all. The last Pokemon I played was Pokemon, like, and I mean played, like all the way through. And even was thinking about taking it somewhat seriously as far as like battling. was Pokemon Omega Ruby. Like, I played the ever-living shit out of that game. That was pre-Switch. That was, I don't even think the Switch was out at the time, but yeah, I went super duper hard on that game and absolutely burnt myself out on it. But coming back to this game, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, I played either Diamond or Pearl, I don't remember which one, and I played a whole bunch of Platinum. And part of it might be the nostalgia that I'm just like, man, I really enjoyed these games as a kid. Like, I freaking love these. Like, I absolutely obliterated my DS playing these games. And part of that's probably, yeah, the nostalgia. But two, I think it's the Nuzlocke factor as well. Like, I've never done a Nuzlocke. It's such a different and cool way to enjoy the game. Like, it's so sick. And I kind of thought about making a video talking about like my enjoyment of Pokemon as well on the channel, and just like this new light of enjoying this older thing, or this thing I used to enjoy, like a rekindled love. Do I think I'll play Pokemon after this? Maybe not. I really don't know. Yeah, I guess I really don't have much else to talk about, to be quite honest. I kind of feel like I got it all out of my system. I guess I'll talk about what I'm going to be doing and where you guys can find me and stuff like that, and I'll wrap things up. So what I'm already doing is, yes, I'm doing a playthrough of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond as a Nuzlocke. My first playthrough of Brilliant Diamond as a Nuzlocke. I don't think I'll play through it again on recording. Obviously, I'm playing a whole bunch of fighting game stuff in way of Dragon Ball FighterZ, but I do happen to dabble with some other fighting games as well. There's golf content on the channel. We're playing through Tony Hawk Project 8. I have no idea how long that will go on for. I would like to do it through to completion, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't know with that series. There is, yeah, vlog-like stuff in way of like golfing videos. There's the occasional Beyblade video. I have a couple more planned in the future because I do happen to have a couple more Beyblades in my closet that I can unbox for you guys. On top of that, coming very soon is the first upload of the Telltale Batman series, the second game, The Enemy Within or something like that. Recorded that recently, and that will be up and about very soon. And yeah, I think that's it. Obviously stuff on Crouch Block in the future, fighting game stuff with Vince, so on and so forth. And I think that's all I got for you guys. I want to thank you guys. This was a bit shorter than I was expecting it to be, but I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more, check out the rest of the channel. In the description, there's links to not just my channel, aka my main channel, my gaming channel, but some other stuff as well. You guys can follow me on Twitch. If you want to support the Patreon, I would greatly appreciate it, but it's not necessary. Content is going to come one way or another. I will see you guys later. Peace.